Dear respected Thai, dear brothers and sisters and friends, welcome to our Friday meditation session. Tonight's session will be a guided sitting meditation. After that, we'll be reciting the 5 mindfulness trainings. And finally, we'll conclude with a Dharma talk given by Thai. And so to begin, please find yourself a comfortable posture. If you're sitting on a bench, place your 2 feet on the ground or on the cushion. Make sure your back is upright. It's not leaning against the back of the wall or the back of the chair. And for those who are sitting on the cushion, try to sit 1/3 of the cushion so that both your 2 knees are touching the mat or the ground. Keep your back upright. You may like to close your eyes, or you can leave them open halfway, looking at the ground or the tip of your nose, but not looking anywhere else. Relax your shoulders. Relax your whole body. Your hands can be placed on your lap or on your knees. Your head is also upright. You're not looking too far up nor looking down. Just keep it at a level. Once you establish your posture, I invite you to come back to your breathing. Notice your in-breath as you breathe in, and notice your out-breath as you breathe out. Become aware of it. We don't have to force or control our breathing. If we know we have a long breath, let it be a long breath. If we know we have a short breath, let it be a short breath. There's no need to extend or shorten our breathing. Just breathe naturally. You can also use the counting method if it helps you to concentrate and focus on your breathing. As you breathe in and out, you count to yourself 1, in, continue to count all the way up to 10 and repeat again. In this way, we try to avoid about thinking other things, but we slowly come back to our breathing. We focus on our breathing. Our breath is our friend, is not an enemy. We don't have to think about anything else. We don't have to think about the past or worry about the future. In this moment right now, you bring yourself back to this present moment, to be in touch with your breath, to be present with your body and your mind. Whatever work, a project, or things that we have to do, we can do them later. But this time is a time for yourself to relax, to calm down, to heal and nourish yourself. Sit in such a way that there is peace, happiness, and whatever thoughts or sounds that come, we can let them go and come back to our breathing. At times we may have a tendency to force, to push, or pretend that those thoughts, those sounds are not there. But we can simply acknowledge them, recognize them, and let them go. In this guided meditation, I'll be reading a few phrases every few minutes. And in those phrases, there are some keywords that you can use to apply in your meditation. We'll begin the session with 3 sounds of the bell. Breathing in, I'm aware that I am breathing in. breathing out, I'm aware that I'm breathing out. In, out. Breathing in, my in-breath grows deep. Breathing out, my out-breath goes slowly. Deep, slow. Breathing in, I become aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I relax my whole body. Aware of my body, relaxing my body. Breathing in, my mind is calm. Breathing out, I smile. Calm, smiling. please release your legs and massage your legs. So dear brothers and sisters, our next activity will be reciting the 5 mindfulness trainings. For those who have the 5 mindfulness trainings sheet, you can pass around to our brothers and sisters. If we don't have enough sheets, you can also listen as I read the trainings as well. So let's listen to 3 sounds of the bell before we start reading the trainings. Dear brothers and sisters, this is the moment when we recite the 5 mindfulness trainings. Usually every month we recite them for us to nourish our practice, to help us transform, to become a better individual, a father, a mother, a brother, or a sister. And as we read the 5 mindfulness trainings, it can help us transform our habits and as well make our lifestyle become better and happier. So please listen to each mindfulness training and recite yes if you have the capacity to study, practice, and reserve it. Dear noble community, this is the moment when we enjoy reciting the 5 mindfulness trainings together. The 5 mindfulness trainings represent the Buddha's vision for a global spirituality and ethic. They are a concrete expression of the Buddha's teachings on the 4 Noble Truths and Noble Eightfold Path, the path of right understanding and true love, leading to healing, transformation, and happiness for ourselves and for the world. To practice the 5 mindfulness trainings is to cultivate the insight of interbeing, or right view, which can remove all discrimination, intolerance, anger, fear, and despair. If we live according to the 5 mindfulness trainings, we are already on the path of a bodhisattva. Knowing we are on that path, we are not lost in confusion about our life in the present or in fears about the future. The first mindfulness training, reverence for life. Aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I am committed to cultivating the insight of interbeing and compassion and learning ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I am determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to support any act of killing in the world, in my thinking or in my way of life. Seeing that harmful actions arise from anger, fear, greed, and intolerance, which in turn come from dualistic and discriminative thinking, I will cultivate openness, non-discrimination, and non-attachment to views in order to transform violence, fanaticism, and dogmatism in myself and in the world. This is the first of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month? The second mindfulness training, true happiness. Aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression, I am committed to practicing generosity in my thinking, speaking, and acting. I am determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. And I will share my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in need. I will practice looking deeply to see that the happiness and suffering of others are not separate from my own happiness and suffering, and that true happiness is not possible without understanding and compassion, and that running after wealth, fame, power, and sensual pleasures can bring much suffering and despair. I am aware that happiness depends on my mental attitude and not on external conditions, and that I can live happily in the present moment simply by remembering that I already have more than enough conditions to be happy. I am committed to practicing right livelihood so that I can help reduce the suffering of living beings on earth and stop contributing to climate change. This is the second of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month? The third mindfulness training, true love. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I'm committed to cultivating responsibility in learning ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. Knowing that sexual desire is not love, and that sexual activity motivated by craving always harms myself as well as others. I am determined not to engage in sexual relations without true love and a deep long-term commitment made known to my family and friends. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. Seeing that body and mind are one, I am committed to learning appropriate ways to take care of my sexual energy and cultivate loving kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusiveness, which are the 4 basic elements of true love, for my greater happiness and the greater happiness of others. Practicing true love, we know that we will continue beautifully into the future. This is the third of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month? The fourth mindfulness training, loving speech and deep listening. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful speech and the inability to listen to others, I am committed to cultivating loving speech and compassionate listening in order to relieve suffering and to promote reconciliation and peace in myself and among other people, ethnic and religious groups and nations. Knowing that words can create happiness or suffering, I am committed to speaking truthfully using words that inspire confidence, joy, and hope. When anger is manifesting in me, I am determined not to speak. I will practice mindful breathing and walking in order to recognize and to look deeply into my anger. I know that the roots of anger can be found in my wrong perceptions and lack of understanding of the suffering in myself and in the other person. I will speak and listen in a way that can help myself and the other person to transform suffering and see the way out of difficult situations. I am determined not to spread news that I do not know to be certain and not to utter words that can cause division or discord. I will practice right diligence to nourish my capacity for understanding, love, joy, and inclusiveness, and gradually transform anger, violence, and fear that lie deep in my consciousness. This is the fifth of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month? The fifth mindfulness training, nourishment and healing. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I am committed to cultivating good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will practice looking deeply into how I consume the 4 kinds of nutriments, namely edible foods, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. I am determined not to gamble or to use alcohol, drugs, or any other products which contain toxins such as certain websites, electronic games, TV programs, films, magazines, books, and conversations. I will practice coming back to the present moment to be in touch with the refreshing, healing, and nourishing elements in me and around me, not letting regrets and sorrow drag me back into the past, nor letting anxieties, fear, or craving pull me out of the present moment. I am determined not to try to cover up loneliness, anxiety, or other suffering by losing myself in consumption. I will contemplate interbeing and consume in a way that preserves peace, joy, and well-being in my body and consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family, my society, and the earth. This is the fifth of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month? Brothers and sisters, we have recited the 5 mindfulness trainings, the foundation of happiness for the individual, the family, and society. We should recite them regularly so that our study and practice of the 5 mindfulness trainings can deepen day by day. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Please release and massage your legs. So dear brothers and sisters, when we hear a sound of a small bell, we will stand up to welcome Thai, so that to give us a thumbs up for tonight.
Good evening, my brothers, sisters, and friends. First of all, I would like to welcome you all. Today is September the 10th, the year of 2021. And we go back to our weekly Friday meditation session. After more than a month on summer vacation, summer break, have you enjoyed your summer vacation so far? And I'm very happy to see some of the old faces, especially one of my very young students, and he is here today. And also today, Brother Andy Trung Chánh just came back from France after 2.5 years in Plum Village. And Brother Andy will come back here and get ready for his fully ordination ceremony. So within another month, he will ordain as a bhikkhu, officially monastic ordained. And as you know, that when you become a novice, Sramana, you just join the monastic. You ordain as a monastic, but you are not fully ordained as a monk or nun until you ordain as a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni. And I heard that this year the great ordination ceremony will be organized in California. So everything went smoothly, and the great ordination ceremony will be beginning of October. And Brother Andy and some of the brother and the sister will be there for the ceremony. I just came back from Victoria, BC, yesterday. And the reason I was there because I paid a visit to the abbot of one of the temple in Victoria. And the abbot there, he is not well, he was sick. And I was there to visit him when he was sick, and I come back this year after his operation. And he a little bit worried for the temple because he does not have any other monks to help him to continue or to look after or to run the temple. So in order to make him happy and at ease, myself and a few other monks and nuns, we flew there to visit, and we promised that we will try our best to take turn to take good care of the temple. So he feel that everything has been set, so he can take time to relax and recover. So there are many, sometimes in life, not only when you're not feeling well or you got sick, and then you're looking for the treatment. But actually, if you reflect deeply, then you will realize one thing, that in our daily life, we have so many things to care and to afraid of. Sometimes we're afraid that we don't have a job. We don't have enough money for our payment. We worry that our son is not doing good in school, etc. So many things going on. And we need somebody to comfort us. Is that true? And sometimes we are looking for somebody or some way to talk to us in such a way that we feel okay. And that's why we are coming to see we're looking for the counselor, because sometimes we does not feel well. We have a lot of anxiety, a lot of worries, a lot of scary in us. And each of us can be like that, but each of us can be a doctor. We also can be a nurse, a doctor, to comfort somebody else. And this is the meaning of life, and this is the beautiful of life. We are the patient, but we also a doctor, a nurse. That we can, doesn't mean that the doctor will not be sick. The doctor also needs somebody to help him. And also the doctor, will help the others. And in a Buddhist term, we call chúng sanh. Chúng means the community. San means living together. We're living together doesn't mean that we don't care each other. But we need to do it in such a way that we're able to support one another. And in Buddhist practice, in the Buddhist community, we have a term called Pháp Lữ, Dharma friend. And the word Dharma friend means the brother, the sister in the Dharma, in the practice. But that also means for yourself, for your practice, everything that happened in your life, that can be a friend of yours. If you know how to contact, you know how to communicate, you know how to facing, you know how to dealing with, and that negative things also can become part of your friend, part of your teacher, because that helps you to improve and to move on. In Buddhist practice, when we have negatives, we do not try to run away. But what we do is we try to facing and find a way to help. Just like our son, our daughter, our brother, our sister, our loved one, when they have problems, when they come to us, and we cannot say, oh, I don't want to hear, you can find somebody else. You know, that shows our callous. Even though we don't have any way to help yet, but at least you sit there and listen so they can tell you what's going on. And if you cannot help that person 100%, I think you still can find some percent that you're able to help. There is no way that we have no way to help. We do have some way, as long as we do have the intent to help. And that is the reason why we call compassion, loving kindness. Sometimes you don't have a full cup of water to satisfy the thirsty of somebody, but you know, a small amount of water still can help that person. We cannot help that person get rid of their poor, but at least you can feed them for one meal. So if you have the loving kindness enough, you cultivate loving kindness enough in yourself, and you will have something to help the others. A few days ago, I have a chance to talk with one of our sisters, and who is not feeling well, emotional, mentally. And I told her that, in Buddhist practice, if something that happened to you, you need to find somebody to help. Just like when you were not feeling well, we need a doctor. If you fell down, the first thing you should do is call 911, because that is the number for all kind of help. All kind of help, that is the number you dial. And you should find a number to dial when you need emotional help. Just like in our temple, just like in our home, our community, mother can talk to her son in some matter. The father can talk to his son in some matter. So the son will feel very complete because he can talk any kind of topics to somebody in his home. Maybe he can talk about soccer with his dad. He can talk about food with his mother. He can talk about practicing with his brother. He can talk about school with his sister. So we can talk with many people because each of us can be good at some point. Do not try to hold or control. Sometimes we say, I'm looking to the way to control something. And that means when you say controlling, it looks like you are finding a way to fight. Even us, if we go to somewhere and we don't want anyone to control us, But that beautiful way is I can work with that person. So instead of controlling someone, why don't we try to do something in more gentle? That, oh, I can work with that person. Once you can work with that person, you can tell them do whatever you want. Same way, you're guiding them. They can do for you everything. But the way you talk to them, they feel that, it's nice to work with that person. We're working with. Even we are a boss, but we like somebody to working with us. Not somebody to be with us, but too afraid, because we are the boss. Do you see what I mean? We try to working with someone, then try to work with our emotional. Try to work with our negatives. In this pandemic time, at first we're so afraid. Everybody tried to protect in many ways. And after that, what happened? We cannot close, we cannot lock down all the time. And that will block everything. So now we open a little bit and we live with it. Now we're dealing with it. Is anyone here who have COVID? And then, the time that you are dealing with your COVID, what can you do? Is that fever, you lost your taste, your smell, everything. And you slowly working with all your sickness. And once you go through all of that experiences, you will see, you will meet nirvana. Nirvana means when you have no sickness. When you have no sickness, when you have no negatives, you are nirvana. So now, the word nirvana is very reality, very real. I arrived. So when we have negatives, instead of trying to find any way to fight with that, control with that, how can we manage? So we became a manager of a company, of a place. So we manage everything. Same way, same word. You may say, oh, I control everything. But when we use the word control, somebody feel that not comfortable. Why you control me? Why I have to control? I can manage, I can dealing, I can facing, I can work with. Then the term we use is much better. Instead of say, I'm sick, I'm not feeling well. They already know what happened to you. Maybe after work, you come back home and you will say, I'm not feeling well, for both body and mind. And if your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, they love you that much, they know what to do with you. So, to my practice, when something happens, I try to, instead of reacting, I try to go back and see what can I do with this. How can I talk to this person? And how can I talk to that person? What can I do with this? Why? Because when you are the head, when you are the leader, when you are the one who manages everything from up to down, then you have to practice in that way. I can say that we should practice that way. We are the boss. But when we work with somebody, they don't feel that. They are working with their boss. Can you see that even we are working so hard, but we still have some time to rest. But our body system, like the heart, the lung, the kidney, they don't rest at all. They are working full time, non-stop. But the more we feel uncomfortable, the more we did not treat them well. So meditation time, relaxing time is the time that you try to help your body system relax. They don't stop working. They just slow down and relax. Just like when we are driving. Some place you still driving, but you try slowly, right? So we still working, they still working, but allow them to work slowly. If we collect too much things to worry, our heart, our lung, they work so hard. Everything they work hard, day and night. And what happens if they work too much? They collapse. They collapse soon. It's the same thing if we try to, against with somebody all the time, and one day the relationship will be collapsed. Our happiness, when we start to construct the happiness, when we start to construct our family, and we are the one who have to work with all the labor there. Our wife, our husband, our son, our daughter, we are in the same house and we all can be the one who constructs and to keep this house complete and strongly, because we all need to work together. Sometimes we learn that life is the art. Life is an art. Everything, every single thing can be an art. Even, cooking, arrange the flower, everything. And if we learn tiny things like that, we can, compose a major one, a bigger one. The term we use is very important too. For example, we say, you have to do this. And that person won't feel comfortable. Why I have to do it? And if we can use the term, you should do this. Why? Because if you do it, it's good for both yourself and us. Then you have to do this, then that person say, why me? Why I have to, and why me? So as good that we are working together and we all see everyone is working. So that is one of our monastic practice. When we become a novice, we learn a lot of what we call the mindful manners. And one of the manners that we should learn that living together as a community. There's no way that, somebody is working and somebody is just hiding in the room, reading, sleeping, and, they're doing their own stuff. You are right to do that when you have a free time. But we all need to go out to do in order to show the practicing of a community. Can you see that one thing is working, then everything is working? For example, you open your eye looking at something, you see something, and your mouth is working along. Oh, that is the flower. Hello, Mark. You see it, your speech will arise. You recognize who is that, you speak out the name. So the eyes, the mind, the speech working together. And because they're working that way, we try to bring positive Because sometimes we do not have enough manage. We see something not all right, we speak out right away, and that causes a lot of problems. And now we learn something else. We still see things, we still recognize things by our consciousness, and we try to recognize them by positive way. And that is one of the ways to avoid anger, to avoid suffering. When we are not that good, then we should be, we try to avoid something that's not necessary for us to in touch. For example, in this period of time, we want to go out if not necessary to go out. And last year, we only do grocery a specific time. We keep distance because we don't want, to bring virus to somebody, or somebody can bring virus to us. If time to do that, then we have to do that. Same thing. If sometime we need to spend time, keep distance with somebody that we know that person cannot bring us healthily for our feeling. They don't bring any joyful, then we don't hate them. We don't try to, throw them away. But in this period of time, I know that I don't have a good feeling with you. So I should stay in my distance. I keep distance in order to protect my anger and also to protect our relationship. If we don't feel connect, then we can stay away. There's no way, there's nothing that we need to fight, to argue, to fighting. Be gentle. If you don't feel that person can be a friend, then we can keep distance. We can say hello, we can, once a while we can see each other, but there's nothing to keep, get to the close relationship. The Buddha taught us there are few ways to protect your suffering. Suffering is something that already happened. Now, what can you do to protect, to help your suffering to be calm and to be healed? Just like when we are sick, when we have flu, when we have fever, we need to find a spot that we can quarantine. Make sure we have time enough to rest and get over our sickness. And make sure we don't spread out to anyone. When you are not happy, make sure you keep yourself in somewhere that you don't spread out this negative to somebody. And one of the ways, keep the distance. Keep the distance doesn't mean we hate that person, okay? But we know how to protect for each other. I know that sometimes I cannot manage enough my anger. I may explode. And once I explode, we both injure. So make sure I don't want this to happen. So please help me understand my situation. And we try to protect ourselves. The Buddha have taught this very detail in many of his teachings. Protection. Just like the monks and the nuns. We protect our monastic life by wearing the robes, shaving our head, Because once your outer look different, then your life will be different. If you keep your hair grow, you wear normal clothes, then you may involve with many things that not necessary for monastic. In Thailand, in Laos, in Cambodia, their tradition is not, the monks not only shaving their head, but they also shave their eyebrow to make sure you 100% a monk. Maybe sometime now is shaving the head is one of the style. So if we want to inform who is the real monk, we should shave our eyebrow. Because you may shave your head, but you won't do not dare to shave your eyebrow. Only a monk does. Why? You throw away everything. Your good clothes, your good life, everything. Then you accept the life of a beggar. You accept the life of a beggar. We are arming the food to remind us you are begging the Dharma from the Buddha to nurture your mind. You are arming the food to nurture your physical body. So every day you nourish by both the Dharma and the edible food. And that is because you are arming. You are poor. Then nothing for you to keep. At the Buddha's time, food not allowed to keep overnight. Because we don't have microwave. We don't have the fridge. So in order to protect our good health, the Buddha only allow us to finish the food in one meal. If you think you cannot finish, you can share. But make sure you don't keep overnight, because that's not safety for your stomach, for your physical body. And you know what does that mean too? If anything that's negative, if anything is not necessary for you to keep, you keep the more you keep, the longer you keep in your mind, the worse for yourself. Let's say I hate somebody. And if I keep that for 1 night, 2 nights, 1 month, 3 years, then what happened to myself? I'm very suffer. So make sure you know that anything that is negative, let it go. Don't keep it even over a night. Remember when we learn Buddhist teachings, we always take 2 things. The words and the meaning. The ritual and the symbol. For example, what is the symbolize of joining your palms? What is the meaning of wearing the brown robe? Why don't you wear black, purple, red? Why you choose brown? So every single thing they contain the deep meaning. Do not keep the food overnight. Do not keep your negatives overnight. If you know this is not nice, not good, why you keep it too long? You should find a way to let it go. You cannot be helping anyone if you're not in a healthy condition. You have been protected, then you can protect the others. So the Buddha taught us to avoid any place that, necessary for you to stay. One day the Buddha walked by and he saw a bag of gold and money. And the Buddha point to that bag and told Ananda, that is the snake, a big snake. So there was another man walked by and heard that. He curious, is that the real snake? So when the Buddha passed by and he came and he looked at that bag and he hold the bag up. He said, may the Buddha get old. This is the bag of gold. Why he called a snake? While he hold that bag, the police came and wrapped him because that is the bag of gold was stolen from another house. And they thought he is a stealer. So they brought him back to the jail. So while he stayed in the jail, he realized why the Buddha called that is the bag of snake. If something is not yours, and remember the possession, and if that is not belong to you, and you overgreed with that, and that will become something to harm you. So the Buddha also advised us. One of the happiness that we should practice is take enough for yourself. Don't take more than you need. Take what you need better than take what you want. Because remember, you need is limited. What you want is unlimited. And because we just grab a lot of things we want, and one day we have full house of things that we don't need, right? And sometimes we go back and we look back to ourselves and how much things we grab and we make them stay inside of us too long. Sometimes we collect a lot of stories from people, who is good, who is bad, who is rich, who is poor. But finally, the question is there anything related to us? If they are poor, they are rich, they are good, they are bad, are they related to you, to us? No. But why they stay with us too long? And we become full mind of unnecessary things. And that is the reason why we cannot meditation. When we sit down, too many things going on. So now, we need to learn meditation in order to reflect only one thing at a time. Just like earlier, Brother Michael shared with us. That is the guidelines. You can use that for your meditation daily. This is my in-breath. This is my out-breath. Try to focus to what's happened right in the present moment. And try to focus one thing at a time. And remember, when we practice meditation, doesn't mean we try to clear up everything from our mind. But we try to working with one thing at a time. Meditation means we're able to stop on time and reflecting deeply what we're supposed to do. Stop on time. We almost get angry. Stop on time. I'm lucky. I did not overcome my anger. So if I'm too angry, I may explode. I may say a lot of things that hurt my loved one. The wound from your skin can be healed, but the wound in your heart is very hard to heal. And maybe after, look like they heal, but that will stay there. They come back once in a while. Very important. That's why we try not to do something for the young children to see, because that stay in there too long. And that does not help the children, the young children at all. Our mind is the same. Sometimes things stay very strong, very firmly, very hard to take it out from the mind. So if we feel that we are not yet okay, then we try to stay away from things, just like the monks. We stay in the temple instead of staying in a regular house. Because when you stay in the temple, the environment of the temple is the environment of the practice. You don't have a chance to involve with any other environments. And if you in touch with other environments and nobody there to help you, you easily can be attracted and you will be pulled out easily. So what I try to share today, because every week we are practicing meditation and we encourage the brothers, the sisters, you go home and you continue to practice your meditation. Not only when you come here once a week, completely not enough. Because meditation is the food for the mind, just like we take food for the body. We take 3 meals a day for the body, but we have no meals for the mind. That it will be the unbalance. And one thing is unbalancing, danger. Second thing, I want to inform that no one us here, that we have no difficulties that happen in daily life. But what we learn is to be there for our difficulties. And then instead of controlling, fighting, argue, we try to facing, looking deeply to see what can we do with this. Just like when you meet a patient, the doctor will sit down and talk to the patient to find out what's wrong. I can read your pulse. Not enough. I need to ask you a question. Right? And I need to use the flashlights to see your eyes, to see your tongue, to read your pulse, to ask you questions. I will collect all of that. I will tell you what's wrong with you. And that's how the doctor will do when they see a patient. And we are just like a doctor of us, of our negatives, our difficulties. We need to ask a question: why? What caused me to this situation? What brings me to this situation? And after that, I need the doctor. And you will find out there's some way to help you to overcome. Actually, everything will stay very calm. But how come they are not calm enough? Because we did not see things as they are. We always add our ideas into something. That's why things will not stay as they are. Because we think we smart enough. We think we have a lot of knowledge to inform on some things. But actually, if that is not the mindful information, that will be maybe a wrong perception, a wrong information. Just like a lot of people right now, they give a lot of wrong informations. And if you receive the wrong information, you will go to the wrong destination. For example, I have 3 ladies. They're from Toronto to visit their cousin in Calgary. And they wish to come to Edmonton so they can visit our temple, visit Thầy Pháp Hòa, etc. So one day they arrived to West Edmonton Mall. And they say, oh, can you please check Thai's address so we can come and see him? And they took they pressed down the wrong address. And the map told them from West Edmonton Mall to this temple will take 3 hours. And they say, oh, too far, we cannot go there, too far. So their purpose to Edmonton is to visit Thai and the temple. But because they have the wrong address, by accident they pressed maybe 11328, instead of that they say 11238 or whatever, and that took too long. So they so sad, they go back to Calgary and then fly to Vancouver. And one day, yesterday, they learned that I was in Vancouver. So they came over and visited me. So sometimes, we have a wrong information just nearby. We still cannot find it, right? So make sure we have the right information. In order to have the right information, we need investigation. And that is one of the first factors to be awakening. We have 7 factors of awakening, and the first one is investigation. You must investigate. What do you need? And once you have that information, you press go, and they will guide you to where to turn. Dharma is the same. And now you can see that the Dharma and daily life, they are not 2 parts. They're just one. Because Buddhism means the way of life. It is the way for us to live. But in many days, many years, we live wrong. We still live, but every day is the day of upside down. Now we need to turn it back and make it straight and right. That's all we do. We still eat, but we are not mindful enough. We may take a lot of food into the body, but the food totally does not bring any health to our body. Now we need to learn what is appropriate for the body. What can I take that makes sure my body is in a healthy condition? I still talk, but in the past I talked a lot of things that hurt my loved one. Now I need to learn how to talk properly, so make sure I don't hurt my loved one. I still treat myself, but I did not treat myself right. I smoke a lot, I drink a lot. I stay up too late to play games. And all the games I play is, violence, scary. And that make me become, I destroy my body system. I also destroy my learnings. Now I need to go back to find the word retreat. I did not treat me well. I need to retreat myself. Oh, I need to go to retreat center. Because that is the center to help me to retreat. There's nothing wrong when you realize you're wrong, because you have the chance to redo. When you write something wrong, you rewrite. When you do something wrong, you redo. When you did not treat yourself good, you retreat. And that is the light of the practice. And that is the word Dharma. Dharma means the truth. You're looking for the truth. Even you love somebody, you want to find a true love. Then why we cannot find the true way to live? Because when you cannot find the true way for yourself, of course, you have no one around you. Even they are true, but you are not true. Then you will bring a lot of wrong methods to treat them, to hurt them, to damage them. And one day, once they are so much damaged, they will damage you back. And we are climbing on the ladder of suffering each other. We don't want that to happen. We want suffer less. And first of all, we help ourselves, and we try to help others. And that is the meaning of Buddhism. You are not coming for religion, for faith, for blessing. You're looking for the way to live right. So once you can find a way to live right, what a bless. Now is really a bless. Thank you for your time, your listening. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. Please massage your legs.